tried to contain our legacy. Then Earth's silent weapon spoke. HFY Sci-Fi story. Yo, stargazers! Brace for an HFY epic that'll hit you right in the feels. On a far-off colony, Veyracade's laughter lights up the stars, but a brutal empire thinks it can crush her world. Big mistake. They've just awakened humanity's fiercest weapon, our heart, forged in grief, ready to strike. They tried to contain our legacy. Then Earth's silent weapon spoke. Get ready for a ride that'll grip you tight. Let's jump in. The stars burned cold over the mining colony of Arcturus Vale, a jagged orb of iron and ice orbiting a dying red dwarf. The air was thin, laced with the metallic tang of processed ore, and the horizon glowed faintly from the smelters that ran day and night. On the edge of the settlement, 10-year-old Veyracade sprinted across the frost-dusted plaza, her breath puffing in quick bursts. Her pet drone, a sleek orb she'd named Flicker, hummed at her side, its blue lights pulsing as it darted to keep up. Veyra's copper hair caught the faint starlight, and her laughter echoed off the prefab domes where families lived. "Faster, Flicker!" she called, tossing a glowing disc for the drone to chase. It spun, caught the disc mid-air, and zipped back to her, beeping triumphantly. The colony, home to 7,000 humans, was a hard-scrabble outpost built on dreams of prosperity. Arcturus Vale's crust was rich with tantalum, a rare metal vital for quantum processors used in everything from starship drives to neural implants. For 40 years, humans had mined it under treaties signed with the Carvran Dominion, a sprawling alien empire that ruled half the Orion Arm. The treaties were clear. The tantalum belonged to humanity, legally claimed and meticulously documented. Commander Taryn Cade, Veyra's mother, oversaw the colony's operations from a control tower overlooking the mines. Her sharp eyes tracked production quotas on a hollow screen, while her thoughts lingered on her daughter's joy outside. Taryn's husband, Dr. Elias Cade, worked in the colony's research lab, studying the planet's microbial life to improve crop yields. Their lives were steady, hopeful, a fragile slice of peace in a galaxy that rarely offered it. But peace was a lie the Dominion never intended to keep. High above Arcturus Vale, space rippled like a torn curtain. A fleet of Carvran warships emerged from hyperspace, their hulls a dull bronze, bristling with angular turrets and violet energy conduits. Supreme Arbiter Vulcra stood on the command deck of the flagship Iron Mandate, his 4 amber eyes narrowing as he surveyed the human colony below. His segmented mandibles clicked with disdain. To the Carvran, a methane-breathing species with a rigid caste system, humans were little more than scavengers, useful only until their resources ran dry. "Transmit the ultimatum," Vulcra hissed to his adjutant. "The humans will relinquish their mining rights. The tantalum is ours now." The message hit Taryn's console like a shockwave. She read it 3 times, her jaw tightening. The Dominion demanded all tantalum production, retroactive to the colony's founding, with no compensation. Their reasoning was blunt. The Carvran were superior, and their needs outweighed human claims. Taryn called an emergency council. Elias left his lab, his face pale. Mayor Lyra Voss, a wiry woman with decades of diplomatic experience, slammed the table. "We have treaties signed in their own script. We've honored every clause." Engineer Corin Thal, who maintained smelters, nodded grimly. "We've built lives here. Schools, clinics, homes. They can't just erase that." Taryn's voice was steel. "They're banking on us folding because they're stronger. We don't comply." She sent a reply, polite but firm, asserting humanity's legal rights. Vulcra's mandibles twitched when he received it. "Insolent primates." He spat. "They cling to paper as if it binds us." He turned to his weapons officer. "Select a target. something they value. Show them our resolve." The officer scanned the colony and pointed to a cluster of domes near the plaza. "High energy readings, likely a power hub. One strike will cripple them." Vulcra nodded. "Fire." The dome wasn't a power hub. It was the colony's learning center, where children studied history, math, and the physics of stars. Vera sat inside, her legs crossed on a cushioned floor, sketching a nebula on her tablet, while Flicker hovered nearby, projecting a star map. Her teacher, Miss Neera Holt, was explaining gravity wells when the air screamed. A lance of violet energy tore through the dome's roof. The explosion was instantaneous, a blinding flash that vaporized the structure. Vera, her classmates, and Miss Holt were gone before they could scream. Flicker's wreckage sparked in the rubble, its lights fading. 16 children, aged 7 to 12, died in the blast. The plaza shook, and nearby domes cracked under the shockwave. Taryn was in the control tower when the ground bucked. She stumbled, her hollow screen flickering as alarms blared. Smoke rose from the learning center's ruins, and her heart froze. "Vera," she whispered, sprinting outside. Elias was running toward the devastation, his lab coat flapping as he joined the crowd of colonists digging through debris. The air was thick with ash and grief. Taryn reached the shattered dome and fell to her knees, clawing at the rubble. She found a fragment of Vera's tablet, its screen cracked but still displaying her nebula sketch. Elias caught up, his face crumpling as he saw the truth. They held each other, surrounded by the wails of other parents. The colony's drones captured everything. Vera's last moments, laughing as Flicker spun, then the merciless beam from the sky. The footage reached Earth via quantum relay within hours. Across human space, screens lit up with images of a copper-haired girl and her drone, obliterated without warning. The Dominion's ships vanished into hyperspace, Vulcra certain of victory. He was wrong. The murder of Vera Cade and her classmates ignited a fire humanity had never unleashed before. In the fortified bunker beneath Geneva, President Oren Vark stood before the United Earth Council. The room was heavy with silence as the footage played. Vera's smile, her nebula sketch, the explosion. General Kaliaren, commander of Earth's orbital defense, spoke first. 17 dead, including 16 children. The Dominion called it a compliance strike. Her voice shook with rage. They targeted a school. Admiral Torin Cade, Taryn's cousin and commander of the Stellar Aegis, clenched his fists. They think we're prey. They're wrong. His ship, a prototype stealth cruiser, was part of a secret fleet built after first contact with hostile aliens. President Vark, a former scientist with a reputation for ruthless pragmatism, turned to Dr. Soren Quill, an expert in Carvren psychology. "Why children?" Vark asked. Soren adjusted his glasses, his voice steady but grim. "The Carvren value strength and obedience. They see our attachment to children as a weakness to exploit. They miscalculated." Vark's eyes narrowed. "How so?" "They don't understand human grief," Soren said. "To them, loss is a statistic. To us, it's personal. They've just given us a reason to fight beyond reason." General Wren displayed a tactical map. The Dominion's fleet outnumbers ours 10 to 1. Their shields are stronger, their weapons faster, but we've been preparing. She activated a hologram of Project Helix, a clandestine program developing adaptive warships and AI-driven tactics. We can't match their firepower, but we can outthink them. Captain Liza Dre, commander of the Eclipse, stepped forward. Her ship was a Helix prototype, equipped with quantum disruptor missiles and cloaking tech. "My crew's ready, sir. Just say the word." Vark nodded. "We don't negotiate with child killers. Activate Helix. Every colony, every ship, every human is in this fight." The footage of Vera's death spread like wildfire. On Mars, Governor Joran Klein mobilized factories to produce Helix warships. On Titan, Admiral Siler Vaughn trained pilots in zero-gravity combat. Volunteers flooded recruitment centers, their faces hardened by the image of a girl and her drone. Vera's name became a rallying cry, painted on ship hulls and armor plates. In a hidden shipyard orbiting Enceladus, engineer Vix Laren oversaw the Helix fleet's final assembly. Her team worked in silence, the weight of Vera's death driving them. "The AI cores are online," Vix reported to her assistant, Kale Droon. "These ships can predict Carveran maneuvers with 92% accuracy." Kale, a young coder with a shaved head, nodded. "The Dominion's rigid tactics won't stand a chance, but we need to test the swarm drones." The swarm drones, a Helix innovation, were grapefruit-sized machines that could overload enemy shields with coordinated energy pulses. Vix's team had spent years perfecting them, hoping they'd never be needed. Now, with Vera's face on every screen, they worked triple shifts. "For her," Vix said, taping Vera's picture to her console. On Arcturus Vale, Taryn and Elias buried their daughter beneath a crystal obelisk etched with her nebula sketch. Flicker's core, salvaged from the wreckage, was placed beside it, its lights dark. Taryn joined the Starlit Oath, a Helix frigate, as its tactical officer. Elias, unable to fight, poured his grief into bio-research, seeking weaknesses in Carveran physiology. "They're methane breathers," he told Taryn via comms. "Their ships use cryogenic cooling. Disrupt that, and they suffocate." The colony rebuilt, but the plaza remained a memorial. A hollow statue of Vera and Flicker stood where the dome once was, her nebula sketch projected above. The colonists worked with grim purpose, knowing the Dominion would return. Captain Lysa Dre's Eclipse led a covert strike team near the Dominion's border. Her ship's cloaking tech made it invisible to Carveran sensors. "Target their supply hub," she ordered. The hub, a massive orbital platform, supplied weapons to Dominion fleets. Lisa's team deployed swarm drones, which latched onto the hub's reactors. The drones pulsed, overloading the system. The platform erupted in a silent fireball, debris scattering into the void. "Confirmed hit," reported her gunner, Ryan Solis. "No survivors." Lysa stared at the wreckage. "This is for Vera." Her crew nodded, their resolve unshaken. The Eclipse vanished before Dominion reinforcements arrived. Across human space, similar raids crippled Dominion supply lines. Commander Zev Tormund's sabotage team hacked Carveran navigation systems, sending warships into asteroid fields. Dr. Myra Velk's nanite weapons, microscopic machines that corroded Dominion hulls, turned patrol ships into drifting husks. Each victory was dedicated to Vera, her name whispered in battle cries. The Dominion's response was slow, their rigid hierarchy prepared for human ingenuity. Arbiter Vulcra, aboard the Iron Mandate, raged at the losses. "How do these vermin strike unseen?" he demanded. Pictured as a methane-breathing insectoid, his adjutant, a lower-caste Carveran named Thrix, hesitated. "Their tactics are unpredictable, Supreme Arbiter. They fight as if possessed." Vulcra's mandibles clicked. "Then we exterminate them. Prepare the Annihilation Fleet." Earth's intelligence network, led by Agent Corin Blaze, intercepted Dominion plans. Stolen data revealed a massive fleet assembling in the Rossetti system, aiming to wipe out Arcturus Vale in 3 months. Corin, a wiry operative with a knack for alien tech, briefed President Vark. "They're bringing 800 ships, sir. Planet killers." Vark's face hardened. "Then we hit them first. General Wren, how's Helix?" "Ready," Wren replied. "The fleet's at 300 ships, all Helix class. Cloaking, AI, swarm drones, and quantum missiles. We've trained for asymmetric warfare." Vark turned to Admiral Torren. The stellar Aegis leads the attack. Make them regret Veyra's name. The Rossetti system was a nebula-choked graveyard of stars, perfect for an ambush. Admiral Torren's fleet, cloaked and silent, waited among the gas clouds. The starlit Oath, with Taryn Cade aboard, took point. "For Veyra," Taryn whispered, her fingers tracing the nebula sketch on her console. The Dominion fleet arrived, 800 bronze warships in rigid formation. Vulcra's flagship loomed at the center, a kilometer-long behemoth. "Crush them," he ordered, unaware of the trap. The human fleet decloaked in a synchronized assault. Swarm drones swarmed the Dominion ships, disabling shields. Quantum missiles followed, punching through armor. The Eclipse and Stellar Aegis led hit-and-run strikes, vanishing into the nebula before counterattacks could land. Taryn's starlit Oath targeted the Iron Mandate. "Disrupt their cooling systems," she ordered, recalling Elias's research. A missile laced with thermal nanites hit the flagship's methane recyclers. The Carveran crew choked as temperatures plummeted, their biology failing. Vulcra's mandibles froze mid-scream as the bridge iced over. The battle lasted 9 hours. Dominion ships, built for overwhelming force, couldn't adapt to human tactics. AI-guided missiles exploited every weakness, while cloaked ships struck like phantoms. Of 800 Dominion vessels, only 70 escaped, limping back to their core worlds with tales of human wrath. Admiral Torren stood on the Stellar Aegis, surveying the wreckage. "We won, but it's not enough," he said. Taryn, her eyes hollow, nodded. "They'll come again. For Veyra, we keep fighting." The fleet returned to Arcturus Vale, where Veyra's holostatue glowed brighter, a nebula sketch a beacon of defiance. Across human space, the victory galvanized the species. Factories churned out more Helix ships. Scientists like Elias developed new weapons, targeting Carveran biology. Volunteers trained with pictures of Veyra pinned to their chests. The Dominion had underestimated humanity's heart, mistaking love for weakness. Veyra Cade's legacy wasn't just a memory, it was a weapon, silent and unstoppable, forged in grief and wielded with precision. The galaxy learned a truth that day. To harm a human child was to awaken a storm that no empire could withstand. The Dominion's days were numbered, and Veyra's name would echo in every battle until justice was done. And so, the stars bear witness to humanity's wrath. A fire kindled by the loss of a single child, Veyra Cade, whose laughter was silenced but whose legacy became a weapon no empire could contain. The Carveran Dominion thought they could break us, but they forgot the one truth that defines us. Our love makes us unstoppable. The war is far from over, but with every battle, Veyra's name burns brighter, a promise that humanity will never yield. The galaxy will never forget the day Earth's silent weapon spoke. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the stars, where humanity's heart shines brightest in the darkest moments. If Veyra's story moved you, hit that like button, share this video with your fellow sci-fi fans, and drop a comment. Tell us what you felt, what you loved, or how humanity's spirit inspires you. Your support fuels this channel, and we're aiming to soar past 1,000 views with this one, so let's make it happen together. Subscribe and ring the bell for more HFY epics that celebrate the unbreakable will of humankind. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep fighting, and keep reaching for the stars. This is HFY Story Pulse, signing off.